right. Okay. Hello, world changers. We are back and better than ever for our very first podcast. As many of you know, I do stream on Twitch and have a YouTube channel as well as TikToks and other social medias. But I was thinking of things to do more impactful things that will bring people together in the world changers aspect. And I thought everybody does a podcast. Why not us? So welcome to the World Changers podcast. Our very first guest is quite special. I have with us my Gramps. This is my Gramps. His name is Robert, but I call him Gramps, and you guys can too. I'm super excited. When we were discussing a topic to discuss today, we landed on respect, and I think that is the perfect first topic for our first podcast because being a world changer has so much to do with respect. And so I'm going to let my Gramps introduce himself and we'll get this show on the road.
I am so happy to be here. I tell Peyton often that she is my muse. She makes me explore things that I wouldn't have explored before, including trying to...
You cry, don't cry. We're 2 minutes in, don't cry.
I tried to get to know my transsexual friend, and I'm 69, so I'm kind of stuck in my ways, and I don't really get stuff like that, and I don't want to get it, but he's my friend. She's my friend, I mean. And I got it, finally. And it's like the world is a beautiful place. And I was telling Peyton how the first thing that really struck me, aside from when my mother answered a little boy's question, I was 5 years old, I said, "Mom, how could the universe be infinite?" And she said, "Well, maybe it's not. What do you think it is?" And I said, "I think there's a big dark wall at the edge." And she said, "Well, maybe that's possible, but what's on the other side of that wall?" And a little 5-year-old boy said, "It can't be anything but infinite." She made a 5-year-old boy understand infinity.
5 years old, that's a pretty complex question.
Then in the 6th grade, I went to Palomar. Mount Palomar in San Diego is a 200-inch Hale telescope, about 6 feet across, and the mirror is highly polished and perfectly tuned, and it concentrates all the light from that 6 feet into the retina of your eye, and you can see. I saw Saturn for the first time, and it was scary, and it was beautiful and awesome, and it made me feel disconnected like a speck of dust, but totally connected because we're all specks of dust. Planets, people, everything. And so then I spent my childhood going to Missouri, my grandparents' farm, and my grandmother would let me collect turtles and lizards and bugs and fireflies. And I learned to love nature, which I still do. I owned a pet store in the 90s. And I love animals. I have, as does my granddaughter.
I do.
And I have a couple dogs and a cat, and I've got several goldfish in a 75-gallon tank along with my axolotl.
2 axolotls.
And saltwater tank.
Keeps listing off animals.
And it's like, I love growing cactus because cactus makes my mind reel about the Fibonacci numbers and the way that the sequence goes around, and the spines are in such a numerical pattern that it's like, it's an awesome, it reminds me of the universe. And when I think of respect, I think of 4 things. I think of the universe because the universe is incredible. I looked at Jupiter and was freaked out. And then in Missouri, where there was no light when I was a kid, it was out in the country, and you could see the Milky Way, and you could see billions of stars. It was incredible, and it was kind of, again, scary, but it was also a part of what we are, and it's part of what makes us us. And so what makes me focus on respect is you have to respect the universe, the unknowable God that created the universe. It is like beyond respect. But the real things that need respect are the earth, the place we live. If we don't respect that, the people that come after us, I'll be long gone, but my granddaughter, my great-grandkids, they'll be dealing with
A lot of crap.
a lot of crap.
Yeah.
And so it's like the respect that we have should be focused on the planet. Second, respect should be focused on everything that lives on the planet. That's animals, plants.
Anything living, alive?
I think you should leave the oil in the ground so that the water doesn't get polluted. I just think that everything should be alive and loving. And the thing of it is the last thing is, well, not the last thing, but the third thing is respect for people. People have differing opinions. God knows. I know that. I have my hard and fast opinions and always have and always will. But it's like, the thing of it is the people that don't share our religion, our belief system, our whatever the people knew as they were growing up is not what I knew as I was growing up. So why should the focus on who I am determine how I feel about who other people are and how they should be? Because that is plain old wrong. And the thing about it is the people that I disagree with politically in this turbid times, I still love them. They're still my friends. They're still people I care about. They believe what they believe. I'm not going to convince them otherwise. I believe what I believe, and I don't need to convince anybody. All I need to be is a bit of a beacon for hope to make people say, you know what? Let's say thank you more often. Let's say I love you more often. Let's hug each other more often. And let's cut each other some slack. Because just because somebody doesn't believe what you believe doesn't mean you're right.
And we're only human. We are only human. No, I totally agree. I think that I was thinking of a topic to do today, and I called my gramps and I said, well, what do you want to do? And he's already like, I already know. I already know what we're doing. It's not what we want to do. I know what you're doing. And he said respect. I thought, well, what a perfect way, because when I was thinking of someone that I wanted to have on my first ever podcast, you know, there's people that I'm friends with from Turkey that I want to have on eventually because their experience of immigration and movie. Yep, you've met them. And I thought, you know, I am who I am today. I'm a world changer. You're going to make me cry. Stop looking at me. I am a world changer because that's who you taught me to be. You taught me how to respect animals and people, and you know, and that's just who I am. And granted, if you ask me if I want to hang out with 100 dogs versus 100 people, I'm going to choose the dogs every single time. But I'd still be all right.
Animals are fascinating. People are kind of mundane. It's like the things that people are interested in are not nearly as interesting to me as a dung beetle pushing its dung ball hundreds of feet away to feed its larva, or the incredible weird sex life of the deep sea, what is that called? With the
seahorse?
No.
What the what?
You have to edit this part out. Okay, what's it called?
But yes, I think that respect is a huge thing in our society. I think that even when it comes down to religion or what you eat or who you hang out with and things like that, it's really about, do I respect this person enough? And that was one thing that when, I was learning about religion, that somebody asked me, like, oh, and I love love. I love to give love, whether it's to my new husband or my family or my friends or my animals. Giving that love is like, I would much rather give gifts on Christmas than receive them, because the love that my friends and I have your Christmas present downstairs. Don't let me forget. That it's so important, because that's all we are. We are human beings, and we have the intelligence to take care of each other and take care of our planet and take care of the animals and the nature that lives here. And it's our responsibility to keep creating that love. I mean, if you constantly, it's like taking care of a child. You can act like that child knows nothing, because you're right, that child knows nothing. But if you teach that child respect and love, they're going to grow up to give respect and love. And that's why when we were talking about what we were going to talk about today, I thought respect was the perfect topic. I mean, what else could you be better than to respect somebody else?
Aretha Franklin said it best.
Yeah,
R-E-S-P-E-C-T.
I just watched that movie, her documentary. It's wonderful.
She was amazing. And you know what? People are mundane, but some people are amazing. Another amazing quote from a song, Elvis Costello. And this touches me to my soul. This is who I am. And it's a song by Elvis Costello, not very popular, but back in the 80s. The song was, "What's so funny about peace, love, and understanding?"
What's so funny? So I think that's exactly. Well, before I get crazy off topic, there is. I had questions that I wanted to ask you, and whatever questions you want to ask me, how we want to do it. And we already talked about why respect is important. We're touching on that. But what is your experience with respect? Getting respect and giving it, and, how you've maybe given someone respect and gotten nothing back, and how that can reciprocate in your life type of question.
Really, when I was younger, people gave me respect because, I don't know, I'm a middle-class white guy. I don't know why, but I didn't feel deserving of that. And so what I did was I gave back twice the respect. When I try to out-polite people.
That is true.
When they say thank you, I say thank you. And when they say something back, I try to further the conversation. I don't want it to end with the nice thing they said. I want it to end with the nice thing I said.
Yeah.
And not because I'm trying to be better. It's just because
Trying to be nicer.
I want to show my appreciation of their niceness.
Yeah.
And the longer it goes on, the more beautiful it is.
It's true. That is 100%. I mean, I have had experience with, the trend is Karens. You run into a Karen and, she's rude and she's like, you put low-fat milk when I asked for 1% in my coffee. Well, I have a lot of experience. I worked in customer service for so long. And I've had so many experiences, and for me, it was the best part of the day. Because I would they would be mean to me.
Yep.
And then I would be nice to them, and they'd be like, well, what do I do now? How do I
It's like a shock collar on a dog.
Yeah. It's like, oh, shoot, I should say something nice. And then you help them, they're like, well, thanks. I'm like, yeah, well, if you were nicer, maybe I'd helped you quicker. And so I do have a problem with a little bit of road rage, and Harold would attest to that. But I'm definitely getting better, because I'm trying to respect everybody, even the dummies on the road.
I am trying to respect people too, and it came up at work. I might be 69, but I still work pretty much full time, and I love working. I love being able to work and physically up to it, and it's fun for me. And I was having a discussion at work, and we were talking about that very thing. What was that very thing?
Oh, that what I just said?
Yeah.
That road rage? Or being nice to people?
Oh, no, road rage, yeah. And so we were talking about that very thing. And that very thing was that a coworker was being chastised for not knowing American Sign Language because his mother was an American Sign Language teacher. And so I thought that's kind of appropriate. You know, he should know more sign language. He said, I know baby language, but it's like,
Okay.
if your mother, you should probably know a little more than that. And I said, well, speaking as a grumpy old man, we have sign language. It only requires one finger.
It would be different if his mom was like deaf and he's like, no, I never learned. No, I didn't care to listen to her.
Or he had a deaf sister, then he would have learned. But
Yeah,
he didn't.
but
So-
I love sign language. I know
Yeah.
I know the alphabet and a few basic.
And that's all about inclusivity and respect.
Yeah, 100%. Well, I was just talking to Harold. I have a list of goals and they're up there, and then I have a written paragraph of my goals for 2024 because one, I respect myself enough to give myself goals that are going to want to further me in my life and my career and doing all these things. But one of those goals are I want to learn a new language every year. So I'd be like,
Wow.
oh, in 2024 I learned Spanish, and that's my goal this year is to learn Spanish and become fluent in it. And then before the year is up, travel to Mexico and see if I'm actually legit.
Vivido en Guadalajara en 1972.
Yes, I know you said
So
too.
we should speak some Spanish, honey.
We definitely should.
I lived in Guadalajara in 1972. It was a beautiful time. My grandparents bought a health spa where the water came out of the ground 192 degrees. And it was all vegetarian, very beautiful.
Wow.
It was lovely.
I wish I was alive to go there. What the heck? Dang timing.
It's all
No.
down now.
And I want to learn. I want to learn Spanish because I
Yay.
respect the culture and I want to
Totally.
learn. And that's my friend.
And you know, it's like when people say about the border and how, you know, Democrats are for open borders and Republicans are all about building walls. Well, the problem with that whole belief system is when Brigham Young, the founder of the Mormon religion, went to Salt Lake City, Utah, and founded the city, it was part of Mexico. And we got it with, guess what?
What?
The Mexican-American War. So, yeah, we kill all you people. You back off. We want this. You can go down there in the desert.
That's like American history at its
Yeah,
finest.
it
Like
is.
everything we have, we're like, all right, we killed a bunch of
is.
people for
Yeah,
it, and now we're
it's
here.
like, you Indians
And then
used
built
to be
a
here,
house.
but yeah, no. And that's, you know, living in the Northland in Duluth and seeing the plight of the indigenous population. And the way that it's not just law enforcement, it's society in general puts these weird phobias on other cultures. And you know what? Embrace other cultures. Other cultures have a lot to teach us.
100%. Well, I'm super glad you brought that up. I had someone come shadow me at work, and she, her family owns the Fond du Lac Casino. And I said, well, she said that to me, and I said, well, why don't you go work for the casino? She said, well, I don't like handouts. I want to work I want to build myself, and, you know, and there's been people at the casino that have worked there so much longer. I don't want to take somebody else's position just
Wow.
because I'm family. And I said, that's wonderful. And I asked her, I said, well, since you're native, how do you feel where they're building a bridge in our town? And while in a lot of our town, both sides of our town of the lake, was native territory
Totally.
before we came here.
Completely.
So there's lots of burial grounds and stuff like that, and so they're building this new bridge, and they are digging up a lot of the bones, the native bones. And so I asked her, I said, well, what do you think on the situation? You know, how as a native to this land, and this is like your tribe, how would you want to go about handling the bones? Do you want them to stop production altogether? And she said, no. She said, truthfully, you're going to find bones wherever you go. She said, this land has been around in native territory for how long? You're going to find bones. She said, but it's about respect. She said, if you find bones,
you stop.
You stop, you come to the natives, and you say, can you come and get them?
Yeah.
Can you, because they're going to do a ritual, a spiritual, send-off, or whatever they have to do. But it's about us, the people that are in the construction, the people that are running the city, and giving the respect to them to be like, here are your family members that were buried peacefully, being dug up. Please handle them however you want to handle them.
And
that's...
It's like, as white people who are not the elite, if you have a, grandfather that's buried at Mount Arlington or something, maybe that's something sacred to you. But as white people, we are not that sacred about cemeteries. It's like, that's the past. It's like, but you know what? That doesn't mean we can't respect the culture of the people that do believe that's important.
100%.
And that's the important thing.
That is
respecting the belief of people for what they believe. Doesn't matter what I believe.
Yeah. 100%. It all comes back to
It doesn't
respect.
matter what you believe. It matters what they believe. If they have a problem with the Washington Redskins, they should bring that up. They have every right to bring that up.
Yeah, and if they're imposing on my beliefs, then they're not respecting me, or if I'm imposing on their beliefs, I'm not respecting them. But what if I say, I believe in God, and you say, I don't believe in God? What about that conversation is going to make somebody mad? Because that's your opinion, and this is my opinion. So it's like there's a saying that people say, they say, stay in your lane.
Right.
Have you heard that? So stay in your lane. So if I'm in my lane, this is my lane. Here's my opinion. Here's your opinion. There's no as long as I stay in my lane, I can't get mad at you for being in your own lane. So it really doesn't make sense to me.
No, it's totally dumb because you need to be able to change lanes. Your brain needs to be plastic and figure out which is the best route, which is not the best route.
Well.
And if you have to stay in your lane, you can't figure out the best route.
Yeah, and we can merge. We can merge peacefully.
Totally.
A zipper. We can do a zipper. Not all crash into each other, because crashing into each other causes conflict. We don't want that. I actually don't like cemeteries at all. If I were people, this is one of the topics I wanted to bring up, so we're headed in the right direction. A lot of people that I game with and stream, and they come into stream and they go, why did you choose the name Future President? Because that's my online presence name, is Future President. And I say, it's not that I want to be future president. I don't want to be a president. I don't want to be assassinated. I don't want to
acknowledge that possibility. That's the way I've always felt it.
I just know that when I'm 35, if the United States is not continuously getting better and they needed me, I would step in.
Totally.
And I would be there, because I'm not going to watch. And this actually all started with the Black Lives Matter movement. When George Floyd died and we went down to pay our respect, because we're right in the Minneapolis area, a few hours away, a couple of, Harold and I and a few of our friends, we drove down and was supporting all the protests, because I totally agreed that police brutality is 100% a thing, especially to minorities. But I wanted to pay my respect. I didn't think that an entire group of people that owe me nothing. I am literally just a little white girl trying to pay my respects to something that terrible happened. Never would I imagined them hand me a microphone and say, let's hear what you have to say. And it's one of the best stories ever. We got to the George Floyd Memorial, and it was awful. And it was terrible. It was awful. I mean, just the energy of having somebody, and I had an argument with someone, they said, well, he was a drug dealer. A person's a person. Horton Hears a Who. You ever watch that movie?
Yeah.
A person's a person, no matter how small. Well, a person's a person, no matter what drugs. So
I met Dr. Seuss.
So what? Okay, hold on. Keep that in. I gotta come back to that. What the heck? But no. So there was like 400 people in this George Floyd Square that it's named now, and the previous day that we went, I was helping the Boys and Girls Club in St. Paul. They were setting up a booth and handing out waters and stuff. I had baby Nama as a puppy. And I think this was the week before or the day before, I'm not sure. And we were handing out waters to people and giving them pamphlets on what the Boys and Girls Club does and supporting the kids in the area. So, whatever. And we came back the next week or next day. I have the worst memory. But so there's 400 people here. And there was a guy, and he was giving his speech and kind of saying, that this has to end. We have to take a stand against this police brutality. And he's like, if anyone has something to say, please come forward, and I will let you say it. And first thing in my mind, I was like, I just want to say I'm sorry. I'm sorry that we as a community have to go through this. Not me. I don't have to go through this because I'm not in any way targeted by anybody else. I could go and steal a bunch of stuff, and they'll be like, have a good day. And that's how it is. But I walk in with one of my good friends with dreads, and he scans one item. They're like, hold on, let me see that receipt. And that has happened before. But I said, I just want to say sorry. So I tell Harold, our friends are sitting on one side and this guy's on the other side. And I go, I'll be right back. And I start weaseling my way through the crowd to get to where the mic was going. And I turn around and Harold's stuck on me like glue. He's like, you really think I'm going to let you walk through this freaking crowd of people alone? You got me messed up. And I was like, okay, my bad. And so I get, and the guy's like, who's next? Who wants to go next? And I shoot my hand up, and I was like, me. And he missed me, and this huge black guy, like 7 feet tall, huge, he goes, I'm going to get you that mic. And I said, I know I'm going to get it now. I was like, now I gotta prepare myself. And so we're standing there, and you could see him, like, getting ready to, like, and so the guy gets the mic from the other person. He's like, okay, and before he's like, hey, this girl right here. And he was like, okay, I got to give it to her now. And
good.
And so I said, okay, so I grabbed the mic and I came out, and the first 10 words I said was, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry we have to be here. I'm sorry this is the life that you have to live. I'm sorry that you send your kids out to school and you have to be afraid that they might not come home just because the color of their skin. I am so sorry. And I continued talking, and I said, I'm 20. I think I was 21 at the time. I said, I'm 21 now. I said, but I promise you, in 2036, when I am eligible to run for president, I will do it, and I will make a change, and I will make sure that everybody is treated fairly in this world. And everybody was like, yeah, I'll vote for you. They're yelling, they're like, better than Trump, and people are yelling. And I was like, I'm serious. Like, I don't want to be president. I have no interest. What I want to do is I want to run my business for animal rescue. I want to own land, and I just want to rescue animals. I want to do that till I die. But I also won't let 1 million people suffer the way that they have constantly been suffering. So that's why I do future president. And it's whatever. And Harold's scared that somebody's going to try to kill me one day. And if they do, that sucks. But what can I do? Because if my options are stay quiet and do nothing, or make a little bit of noise and do something, I'm pretty loud. I really can talk a lot.
I have no idea where you get that.
I can talk a lot. So that's
like I'm her maternal grandfather.
Yeah, my mom's dad.
So yeah, her daughter is my firstborn. Very loud, similar to me.
Even though my mom does say, Peyton, why are you yelling? Why are you being so loud? So I'm excited. Leave me alone. Let me be excited. So definitely, yeah, that's definitely why I chose that, and that's why we're world changers.
And you know what? The other reason you're world changers is because when your mom was a little girl, we went to the grocery store, and she would pick up all kinds of things and put them in the cart. And your mom would be very mad and say, "Don't let her do that," I would let her do it, and I would put all the stuff back because it gave her some control over her life. And what I believe is if you have kids, especially daughters, you need to raise them to be strong. Because if you're not strong, especially if you're a woman, you're going to get stomped. And
chewed up and spit out.
I made your mom strong, and she made you strong.
Amen.
And I'm happy.
Amen. That's hallelujah. And my mom is too strong sometimes. She's a little too stubborn. So thanks for that. But yeah, so that's why I chose Future President and World Changers. And you know, a lot of people, for years I've been streaming for maybe 3 or 4 years on social media on Twitch, and that's the streaming site. And I do little things here and there on other platforms and stuff, but when I decided to be a future president, I've had people laugh at me. I have my email under future president, which was a mistake because I booked a hotel room one time and they asked for the name and you have to say future. And this lady, I said, I gave her the number and she's like, future president? And I was like, bing bong, that's it. And she laughed out loud and she's like, yeah, like you're gonna be a future president. And I was like, personal challenge accepted, and you're fired once I am, son. And so yeah, no, I think it's really important to be world changers. I think, and I have a lot of people go, I can't be a world changer. That's too much to ask. That's just too much to do. And mom actually says that I put too much on my plate when I say I'm gonna change the world. She says, don't say that because that's putting so much weight on yourself.
Changing the world is done
by the
10 seconds at a time.
The littlest of increments can literally change the world.
Something is not nothing, and a bunch of somethings is a lot. And so every little bit turns into an avalanche. And so an avalanche of good? Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take
that.
That's
a good thing.
Yeah, exactly, 100%. And you can't... when I say be a world changer, I don't mean, you know, cure cancer or solve world hunger, which for sure do those things. If you can do those things, do those things. Totally. For sure. But I mean, like, actively make good, kind decisions. Like, you see somebody struggling with their groceries, lend a hand, open the door for somebody, say, you look great today. Those little things.
Do what you can.
Do what you can and do what is available to you. I mean, if you have, you know, if you see somebody homeless and all you have is 50 cents or $1, that 50 cents or $1 might make that person's entire day. You have no idea. And that brings us right back to respect. We have no idea what people are going through.
And you know what? Don't worry about what they're going to spend it on. It's like you help them out. If they don't have a place to sleep and you're in Duluth, it's like,
which can get
just
very
help
cold.
them out a little.
Yeah, and
it's not going to hurt you. It's going to help them.
And that little bit of help might give them just a little bit of hope to maybe get better and to, because we, you know, there are programs and there's things, and it's just about, it all revolves back to that entire being respectful to whoever you can be respectful to. And that's what we are. That's, as world changers, it's our duty to do that.
And you know what? The whole respect thing is, you can respect the universe. That's all well and good. A little esoteric. You can respect the environment. That is totally well and good. Don't be polluting. Don't be draining your oil to drain into a lake. But you can do something, and that is be nice to everybody around you. It's not that hard.
100%. 100%.
It makes a difference. 100%. And you know what? Not putting your oil into a lake makes a difference. But there's nothing you can do about the universe. There's only a little we can do about the world. But there is a lot we can do about a frog or a turtle in the street or a plant that's dying, we need to water it.
Well,
or a person that needs to have encouragement and hope to go on another day.
Yeah.
That is easy to do. And it makes a huge difference.
I think about the increments of money. If I asked one person for $1 billion, that's an impossible task. But if I asked 1 billion people for $1, that seems like the easy. You're like, oh, it's just $1. So if every single person in the world decided, when they wake up that day and they see this podcast and they see us talking, they go, you know what? I'm going to be a freaking world changer today. That's $1 more that we get to change the world.
Unfortunately, the truth of the matter is there are people that are surviving on $2 a day. And giving $1 is... No.
We'll make it a penny and we'll start there.
No, we can make it $1 to those of us who can afford the dollar easily. And that should be the norm.
Yeah. 100%. You can't ask the world from somebody that doesn't even have a place to stay or doesn't have food to eat so yeah, it's what we can do as people that will make a difference. And so
we change the world one kind or unkind thought at a time. Follow that mantra and basically you'll be golden.
100%. 100%. Well, I think that for our very first podcast, as World Changers, this was a complete success. I know we don't have much time left because we want to keep it relatively under an hour. We're getting to that mark. But is there anything else that you think that is important to share that we don't think we covered?
Yeah, you said you would be able to edit this, so I remember the name of the fish. It's called an anglerfish.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And an anglerfish is, it's got a light on the end of a long stalk in front of its head. And there's only females because when they're born, there's 50% females, 50% males hatched out of the eggs. But the males have 3 months to find a female. And what happens is the male has to latch on to the female's belly because its intestines start to degrade. And so basically, these animals, the males, find a female and they latch onto her, and up to 10 males can be inside this female. And by inside, I mean she grows around them, and they're completely surrounded by them, and they're basically parasitic. They're only providing sperm.
See, that's why Mother Nature is pretty terrifying. I'm not gonna lie.
And that's why I'm saying human beings are freaking mundane.
Seriously,
and stuff like that.
Frick.
You see a little tiny beetle rolling a turd half a mile away. You see a animal that lives in the deep ocean and has 10 males living in its belly. It's like...
That's pretty wild. That is pretty wild. Well...
You gotta show that respect.
You do have to show. You do have to show that respect. Well, Gramps, thank you so much for coming over. I am very appreciative.
My pleasure.
I love you a lot. I am trying to convince my Gramps to start a TikTok because he does amazing gardening and loves animals, which he has literally kept. How old's Rocky? 14?
15 almost.
15. He's kept our Rocky Balboa alive for
he's a 100-pound dog. So
he's an idiot.
He's a big dummy.
He's the
lab.
dumbest. He's a big dumb idiot, but we love that stupid dumb idiot.
Yeah.
But no, I really think that coming here and having you on will motivate you to, and of course with my help, will motivate you to start sharing your knowledge.
I would totally love to show people how adept I am about not only my fish tanks, but I love cactus. I love plants in general. I have palm trees, lemon trees in my living room.
And we live in Minnesota. He's got a lemon tree in his living room. So it's and what is your IQ?
Only a little crazy. It's 140. It's like I'm either the smartest regular person or the dumbest genius.
I like the dumbest genius.
That's
my favorite. That's much more better.
Yes, it is.
So
it describes me.
So, the way the podcast is going to work, we're going to do every Monday. There will be a new podcast with a new guest, a new world changer. You don't have to be famous. You don't have to be some celebrity. You just have to be somebody that actively wants to change the world. And that is a huge thing. And, you know, it could be a viewer watching right now and they're like, oh, I would really love to be on this podcast. And I would love to have you on it as long as you're a world changer. So we love you. We hope, and I want everybody that's anybody to feel welcomed here. It's nothing, you know, size is too big, too small. It does not matter. As Horton Hears Who says, a person's a person, no matter how small. So we definitely want everybody to feel loved and appreciated. And you will see it on my YouTube. It's called Future President TV. And the actual channel name is the World Changers channel. So I love you guys. Gramps, you want to say goodbye?
Love you guys too. It's like she is my amazing.
Well, we're good. I'm going to go make spaghetti now. I hope my Gramps stays and is hungry, but if not, I totally understand. But I love you guys, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of the week.
That was fun.